conversation explores beyond our thinking, beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. One of his advocacy empowering women through nude portraits, none other than Mr. Mark Laurie.
Hi.
Welcome, Mr. Mark on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I
Sure. I'm Mark Laurie from Inner Spirit Photography. I'm based in Calgary, and for the last 46 years, I've been photographing women. We're actually one of the founders of the boudoir photography niche or wave, I guess. And we
Yes.
developed into boudoir nude photography way back in the 80s and before it was even fashionable. And women have incredible life changes from the photography experience. It's very personal, very dynamic, and very life altering.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Mark. Thank you. And today let's
You're
talk about
welcome.
yes, and let's talk about how a nude portrait session empowers women. And thank you so much for empowering women all over the world through your expertise. So beyond the image, its core, it's about more than photograph. What is the fundamental need for longing you see in a woman that nude portrait session answer in a way other experiences might not?
Pushes a boundary. So women are looking for something a bit stronger, way to define themselves. And doing a nude photography session is bold. But when in a safe environment, it's an easy thing to do. But once you've pushed that kind of boundary, you find personal strength. The photographs show you how powerful you are, how uninhibited you are, and you carry that forward in your life. Women come from different backgrounds. If you've had a divorce, you're feeling kind of vulnerable and you're not too sure about how sexy you are and what your confidence level is. The nude portrait photography changes all that. It's dynamic. And then we have add-ons. We can do fire, as you can see in my photograph there. We can actually put fire in a woman's body, which is like a phoenix experience where they're just burning, they're passed away and becoming someone special. We do body painting, we do water. So we have a lot of very elaborate tools to let a woman step into who she really is, step into her power.
Yes, I love that power, Master Mark. In a cultural counter narrative, we live in a world
Mhm,
where women's bodies are constantly judged, photoshopped,
mhm.
and commodified. How does this process actively dismantle that narrative and create a new personal story?
One of the strengths, I guess one of the problems is that women are constantly exposed, even though they know most photographs they see on the internet and on TV have been altered in some fashion. With my photography, we do it through lenses, camera angles, lighting to reshape, not reshape their bodies, but to reveal their bodies in its best possible light. It's like when a woman goes to a lingerie store or a show, they're not going to pick the dress that makes them look dumpy. They make the dress that hides their concerns and reveals their best assets. So that's what my photography does. They know when they look through the camera, they're seeing the real them. They're seeing them at the best angle possible. And that gives them a sense of power, a sense of realization. We had one client come in, she wanted to see how the world saw her because her husband kept on saying she looked beautiful, but she looked in the mirror, she didn't see it. When she saw her photographs, she finally got it. And we dig deep, and the photographs reveal not just what they look like on the surface, but their personality. And that gives them a sense of individuality and more power again.
Yes, more power again. And again, thank you for empowering women all over the world. The threshold moment, Mr. Mark. There's a powerful moment between thinking about it or doing it.
Mhm.
How do you help women across the threshold from nervousness into sense of agency and readiness?
Well, there's a process I've developed over 45 years. So we start with the planning stage where I sit down, they kind of get to know me, get comfortable. We start talking about their ideas and their dreams, how I can create those in my studio. My studio is different than most studios where they really just have a bedroom in a house.
Hmm.
I've got about an 800 square foot space, heated floor, 12-foot ceilings, and we build sets. So we can do hair makeup. So they come in for the actual session. Now we had one girl, for example, she, a little tiny thing, she normally was a spit cracker in her normal life. She was investor for very wealthy people. And she had no problem standing up on the stage and telling people that their last $1 million investment tank, here's a new place to risk their money. But when she came to the studio, she was almost incoherent. She was so nervous. And we sat her down. We did the hair and the makeup for her, and that's part of the not so much the transformation, but part of the process of getting comfortable in the space because the hair and makeup's done in the studio, so they're seeing how the studio set's being built. We take a few minutes to kind of get them on page, talk about what they're going to be doing, and they get busy doing what they're doing. Studio is very warm. If you have clothes on, you are heating up. So a nude's very, very comfortable. So there's that part of the process. When they see the back of the camera and what the images are looking like, that makes them feel very powerful, very strong, very beautiful. We had one girl, for example, she was a heavy girl because I get all body types. And she looked at the camera and she goes, "Oh, this is cool. So you took a photograph of another woman who looked like me, but better. And then the camera pastes my head on her body." I go, "No, this is actually you. This is
Uh-huh.
actually you." And it was it was incredible. She was really quite a large girl and very inhibited with her body and so on. And I got a phone call from a hairdresser one day. She had come in. Now, normally when she goes to the salon, the girl explained to me she finds the far dark corner to hide in while her hair is being done. This time she bounces in. She's got a low cut dress. She flounces into the seat next to the window, actually as close as she could get. There's a girl beside her. She produces to show off her photographs. This is so unlike what she was before. She was now embracing her body, her shape, who she was. It is dramatic.
Dramatic indeed. So let's look at the process and the space.
Mhm.
Crafting sanctuary. The environment is everything. How do you intentionally build a physical and emotional space that feels like a photo shoot and more like a sacred, safer container for this transformation?
Love your wording. The space, we turn all the lights off in the studio. So we have three-dimensional sets. So it's not a lot of green screens where they don't know what's happening. They're on a bed, they're on a rock pedestal. We have giant wings, all those types of things. So she can look around, she can see her space. It's real. It's very, very warm. It's very comfortable. There's music playing, and we're talking. It kind of flows. Like we had one girl that got quite surprised. She looked at the back of the camera at one point. She says, "Wait a minute." She says, "I'm naked. How'd I get naked?" I said, "Well, about an hour ago. Took your clothes off."
Okay.
And she said, "I didn't even realize that. It was so natural, so comfortable." So even people, we've been studied by psychiatrists. They actually did a medical paper on us a while back because women, when they're going through their process, they notice someone would jump a stage or two. And every time they did, my name came up. So as a result, we've had women who've been through rape and abuse situations to come to us for an empowerment stage to feel they can control things again. So our studio, they get to have complete say. Like if I set my camera up or make a suggestion, they don't like it, they're in control. And they very much feel that they're in control. And it's collaborative. So I'm making suggestions, they're making suggestions, they're seeing the back of the camera. We're building sets that they want to have. We're lighting and choose them off the show up them off the best. We just had a girl in recently, she'd had a double mastectomy. So and she decided to not go for enhancement. So she's just got a flat chest with scars. And this was her new reality. And she was pretty bold about it, but still a little bit hesitant. And we started doing the photography. We brought in archery because that was a new thing of hers. She had to create a lot of upper strength through the surgery. And so having the props that she really relates to in the photograph gave her this sense of ownership and revealing who she really was. And as they reveal who they are, and it's positive feedback, there's no negative, "Oh, that's not good." It's a positive feedback that just compounds their their sense of belonging, their sense of expression. So there's been a study that shows when a woman is photographed by a safe male photographer, there's a chemical change in her brain that makes her more creative, makes her bolder, makes her more assertive, and makes her feel sexier. And that's, I think, kind of cool.
Mm. Sexier. Wow. We love that, Mr. Mark. The language of guidance. Your direction as a photographer is crucial. What does your guidance sound like in a session? Are you focusing on form, feeling, or metaphor?
We do a mix of all of those things. So watch how a client moves. So when I say sit down in the bed, I don't say sit this way. Just have a seat in the bed, in the edge of the bed. And then I'll say, come forward, do this with your legs. We may make a hand, always asking if it's okay to kind of adjust their body. I find, and this is where most photographers often fail, is they say smile. So the mouth's doing one thing, the eyes are doing something else, and the body is telling a different story. So through humor or stories or talking or asking questions, I get the body to be harmonized with the face and the expression. So everything has to have a mood. Everything has to show a personality. We also have to have nice, clean, dramatic lines that still reveal her. So it's a bit of a dance to get those combinations just right and quickly. And my background, I started, wasn't with digital, it was with a film camera because I've been doing this for 46 years. I only had 40 shots, 10 shots to a roll in my session. So I had to be very quick and get very, very good expressions without duplicating images because I only had
Hmm.
40 shots to work from. So I craft every image and the client feels that awareness happening. So as I'm building the photo session, the photo pose, she feels that she's being looked after, that nothing bad's going to happen because the pose is perfect. And that lets her relax. And there's a second where she goes from being nervous and unsure to all of a sudden she feels safe. I can do this. I can do anything here. And then you can see the transition. It's a very visual moment.
Mr. Mark, you often talk about helping women move from being an object of gaze to becoming the subject and author of their own gaze. Can you describe
Mhm.
what the internal shift feels or look like?
There- the internal shift is a sense of ownership. So they they kind of reinterpret the world from again a position of authority, of power, of self-awareness. So when a man looks at them, they can appreciate that she still has the power, even though he's looking at her. But she can move with an environment because of her own self-assuredness and her aware of her beauty. She has less, I guess, less concerns about whether her tummy's showing or not. She's just herself, the value of herself. And that moment of that gaze there, when it comes across, she interprets it completely different. And it's subjective. It always is. He may be looking at her lustfully. He may be looking at her appreciatively. He may be with pride. Depends who it is. She doesn't care. She becomes confident in herself. When you're confident, you really control the world. You don't really care what other people think. You move in your own space, and that's what we deliver.
Mm. Interesting, interesting, Mr. Mark. So tell us the transformation itself, witnessing herself. This session itself is one thing, but a real moment often comes in the reveal. What do you most often see in a woman's face when they first see as an authentic, powerful image of herself? Perhaps she didn't know when she's being taken.
It's amazing to watch. Now, each woman's going to have a different sensation depending where they're coming from. We've had some women break down in tears. They just can't believe that that's them. We've had women just keep on like they just admire that they recognize it themselves. They've never seen themselves this way. One girl goes, "You sure that's how the world sees me? No wonder they think I'm hot." You see their body posture change. They kind of go from a slouch to sit up more straight. They become the person in the photograph. Now, this is an important piece because we bring out. It's not just a photo of what they look like. We're photographing slices of the personality, so we can have them looking very confident. They look at that photograph and they pull that back out. They can be looking very sensual, and you can see their body start to shift to reflect what they see in the camera, see in the photograph up on the screen. Now, when they see them for the first time, we normally project them on an 8-foot screen, so they are bigger than life. They really command, and they're looking back with this solid, positive look in their faces. Their bodies always look amazing, and that alters her body language, her own confidence. Like we had one girl, she almost walked out of the studio nude. She was so excited to show her friends and talk about this. It's um it's a hard thing to describe. We had one client one time that said it's like when you've gone scuba diving and you come up and you've seen this amazing stuff underwater and you come up on the deck and you see a girl who's in bikini sunbathing and her body's never gotten wet and you try to describe to her what you've seen. It's that hard to get across. But they walk out, and we've had clients come back where they if they're going through a hard time, they live in the photographs. They pull them back out. One girl had Lyme disease. Lyme disease starts to take your personality away. That's one of the things the parasite does. He
Hmm.
uses her photographs to remind her who she is. So it takes her back to a grounded moment. So each woman will have a different purpose, and you can see that reflection in photographs and in the response to them. A lot of them get books. They get to kind of pack them around. So many of them say, well, no one's going to see these. These are personal. And then within 2 weeks, everybody who's important to her has seen her photographs. It's kind of cool.
Yes, definitely. So, Mr. Mark, as a photographer, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Well, we've got some projects we're working with. We love to indulge in things. We have one book. We're going to start the process of trying to get it published. It's called Her Body Speaks. With that one, what we did, we birthed the idea when there's a lot of protests going on. Women had very crude slogans. Their faces were point and they're very effective. But we want something powerful and positive. So the women come in, we got 45 of them, and they would write 8 to 10 positive things in their bodies. So we do hair makeup. We had write these words in their body. Then we posed them nude on a white background, became a black and white photograph. And this became very strong for them. So they get to express both through the uninhibited nature of the posing and the power of the words to represent who they are. Then the book comes, each photograph has a story, the background of the photograph, which adds additional depth to it. I like to travel the world. So we've photographed in 16 countries. I'd like to expand that. That would be exciting to work with. And we're doing more with fire these days. So working with the elements has been another big goal. And so it's a nice steady flow for me.
Yes. Good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success, Mr. Mark. And
Thank you.
what will be your piece of advice for those people that don't want to be like you?
Know your craft. Get to know it's hard. You've got to master your lighting and all those technical things, but you've got to actually see the woman you're photographing. Let them know how safe it is. Construct that environment so they get to express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, we have a nuisance here. Um,
No worries.
from there, continue forward. Let them guide the process, and let park you go at the door. It's about them. It's not about you as a great photographer.
It's about them, definitely. Thank you, Mr. Mark, for that
You're welcome.
advice. And let's talk about the broader impact and reflection. The portraits often become heirlooms. What does it mean for a woman to create a tangible record for strength and beauty at this moment in time for herself and potentially for the future generations?
It's kind of interesting. I had a client in recently, and what her job was she helps women stay in their homes longer, and so rather than going to a retirement home. And I asked her, why did you come to us? And she said, well, she's last month she was at 3 homes, and one of them, the first girl was in her late 70s, and she had a nude photograph above the couch and she us my name onto it. And that she just sort of sat below and smiled. Second girl, the same thing, a different photograph from me up on the wall. The third woman, it was a very sensual photograph she had taken from the bedroom, hung it there. She was in her 80s, and her book was open on the counter. He says, what is this about? And she said, well, the girl says, every time my friends come to see me, it's like, oh, how you feeling today? Is the
Mm-hmm.
arthritis work? Do you feel better? And it was boring me. So I put this up. No one wants to talk about my aches and pains. Now they want to know about that woman on the wall when I was 30. And it just, so it totally changed the conversation. We've got clients who the daughters know that this is what they've done, and they love the photographs. And so they've got kids requesting the uh, the photograph books as heirlooms and up on the walls. They're they especially when you're older, it brings the people back. It connects them with the younger self. So girls who's in her 40s and her mother's in her 80s or maybe has passed, and she comes across photographs like these of her, with her mom looking strong, beautiful, powerful. It changes, that's her heritage, and it changes how she sees her mom, and it changes her background. And that's the legacy they leave. They also show their kids, like we've had clients use them as a role model example, that this is proud of my body. I don't have a perfect body, but I still look great and I'm prepared to do this. And so it gives the children a perspective of personal self and confidence. And that's the going forward part of it.
Closing an action, Mr. Mark. For a woman intrigued but terrified, what is a tiny, non threatening first step she can take to explore this feeling of embodied ownership before ever booking a session?
Um, the best thing is like, research photographers. Usually the first step is going to be talk. So in your mind, if you leap right in the fact I'm going to do a nude, that could be overwhelming for a lot of women. But you say, look, we can do anything you want. So we can just do glamour if she wants. So each woman meets us at their space. So if they come in and say, well, I'm just going to talk to you, we just want to explore this idea, See if I have a connection, see how comfortable, how safe you make me feel, see if you like my ideas, see if you think you can work with my body. But I'm not committing to anything, which is fine. So she comes in, she just talks to the photographer, gets comfortable, thinks, okay, this could work. We call it a heartbeat. So when they first come in, they're really scared. Often, sometimes they're bold boisterous, but for the girls who are sort of nervous and uncertain, they come in and we can say, well, we can just do lingerie. You get to wear as much or little as you like. You can wear you can wear a turtleneck sweater and a full length dress. It's totally up to them. They have that much control in the photo session. It's not necessarily a nude. That's the big leap. And pretty much all the clients start at that point, hoping that they can do a breakthrough, and they usually do. So it's little steps. You start talking the phone, meet the person, meet the photographer in person, meet me, talk about the ideas that we have, what they like, what they want to do with it, and kind of get comfortable with the idea. Come in for the photo shoot. Again, it starts small. We start doing hair and makeup. So they start feeling powerful. They see we go through the clothing, start talking ideas, develop a set that fits. So it's all these little steps that gives them progressive control and progressive power as to what's happening in the photo shoot.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And Mr. Mark, before we wrap up our discussion for today,
Yes.
I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in third season, and of course, my book 101 review in sixth season as well. Comedy 101 in third season, and my food 101 is sixth season too. Geography 101 love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 are in fifth season, Science 101, Sex 101 in its fourth season, and My Baby Podcast, 3BA 101, Low 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and of course, My Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Mark, what is the
Great.
most unexpected, beautiful, a profound benefit of a client has ever shared with you? Something you did not initially set out to create, but what an experience made possible.
There are so many of them. I think it was there's a client we had come in that wanted this. She said, I want to do a photograph to honor my son, which is like an unusual comment. And so she came in and she was in tears. Her son had just died, and they haven't had the funeral yet. She was a very religious person,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual, and her contract with her God was that he would look after her kids as long as she'd bear any problem. And of course, when her son died, that broke the contract. And in 45 minutes, we had to bring her from that to where we could do the photo shoot. Now, she wanted this because her son had believed this was a good thing for her. And she was doing that to kind of honor his belief for the last 10 years that she should do this. And that was the core. And we brought her from this lost person. By the time we were done, she had reconnected with her religion. She felt good and she had met her own terms. That was a normal cycle to go through. It was really profound for me, too.
Yes, and Mr. Mark, thank you so much for sharing your
You're
knowledge and
welcome.
wisdom and knowledge to the world. Of course, especially for your
I appreciate that.
your photos. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yes, we've got there's a Google, Facebook page, Inner Spirit Photography, and we have got what else can we do? Just reach out and contact us. We have a podcast called fascinatingwomen.com. That would be a
Awesome.
great thing for them to go and listen to as well.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Mark because if you support him for sure, more and more empowering women will rise. And of course, the podcast itself, let's empower podcast hosts all over the world. So I have one more question, Mr. Mark.
Sure.
Before I will let you go, how has witnessing a facilitating these hundreds of stories of empowerment changed you? How do you hold space without taking on the emotional weight?
I photographed over 5,600 women, so it's part of a style, I guess, where we get to know them. I have lots of empathy, but I don't get buried in their story. And that little bit of distance keeps me from dissolving into whatever crisis they're into, but also keeps them feeling safe and in control because they don't dissolve in anything else. So I'm able to create that separate barrier quite easily over the years.
Yes. Mr. Mark, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate yours too.
What can people see you soon?